Thoughts on the failing power grid in the U.S. right now with this cold storm? Investments in infrastructure be great for the economy. Dude, this is such a loser. Why does America suck so fucking much? I actually want an answer. Fellow Americans, why the fuck are we fucking terrible, okay? Our infrastructure is dog shit. Why? Why is our fucking infrastructure so bad? When you drive under overpasses in the city, you can fucking legitimately see cracks. You can see spiderweb cracks running along them. Our roads are fucking cratered. There are American inner cities that look like, unironically, that look like fucking bombed, like Kabul or Baghdad. They look like shit. We have more money than any other country in the world. We have an insane amount of money. We have an unbelievable amount of money. We generate more revenue in this country than anywhere else on Earth. And we put nothing, or at least not enough, towards infrastructure. Why? I'll tell you why. It's a very, very simple answer, okay? Look around you. There are people right now who are unemployed. Look around you. Is there not work to be done? Is there not work to be done? When you drive through your average American city and you see its failing infrastructure, when you hear about these power outages, when you see well, I can't really blame cities for not being able to withstand the snowstorm that just took place, because there are some cities that got hit by that shouldn't be getting snow. But when you see all this, there is work to be done, but nobody's paying to do it. That's why. That's why. Nobody's paying to do it. There's no money to be made in it. Even though there is money to be made in it. The degree to which you invest in infrastructure has a massive, massive impact on the general civil productivity. Okay? To a massive extent. Can you imagine a country that had proper public infrastructure? Have you ever lived in Los Angeles? Please, God, everyone who's ever been in Los Angeles, raise your fucking hand, okay? Los Angeles is a broken city. It is a failed city. It's a failed city, okay? The traffic in Los Angeles is not okay. It's not okay. That can't happen. That's not acceptable, okay? 100 years ago, the mayor of Los Angeles decided that with these newfangled car inventions, that he was going to stake his massive and largely developing city on the prospect that, you know what? We're not going to go down the public transportation route like all these other old-fangled East Coast cities are. We're going to invest in the car, motherfucker. Everyone's going to have a driveway. Everyone's going to have a garage. And later they built highway systems to stretch across the entirety of the megacity. And you know what? It's shit. It doesn't work. It worked for a little bit. Worked a smidge, you know? Worked for a little bit of time, but not long. And now all the other countries that actually invested in public transportation are outperforming us. If you just want to look at economic efficiency, man, you got to invest in infrastructure. Holy fuck. Do you have any idea how many wasted man hours are spent in Los Angeles traffic every single day? I want you to actually calculate that in your head if you can. I want you to imagine it, because that's well into the billions. Easily. 2 hours off the day of millions of people each. What could they be doing with that time? But it's just gone into the void because we don't put any money in our infrastructure. We're getting cucked right now. We're getting fucking Euro cucked in this shit-ass country. Our power grids are underfunded. Fucking California caught fire, not because of Jewish space lasers, but because PG&E, the premier power company in Central and North California, never spent their bajillions of dollars upgrading their infrastructure because they were too busy giving their CEOs fucking golden parachutes. So you know what happened? Their dying electronic infrastructure caught fire and caused how many dollars worth of damage? and destroyed how many homes? Led to how many people's lives being ruined? Seriously. And then we have our highway systems, and we have our roads. Our roads are falling apart. Our highway systems are in better upkeep than our roads on average, I think, at least in some ways, but we don't have trains. We don't have trains and buses, man. Everything in this country is falling apart. There are parts of this country that are unironically like a third world country. Not that there's anything wrong with living in one of those countries, but with the fucking amount of tax dollars that our government strips up from us, you'd think we'd be able to. Voss, Chicago has trains and buses? Yeah. Chicago is one of the parts of America that has decent public transportation. Chicago has uniquely good public transportation. Not as good as many parts of Europe, not as good as Japan, but better than most of America. New York, filthy, but they do have public transportation. Very few people drive in New York, or at least less than in Los Angeles. Yeah, there are parts of Chicago that are very well planned. I don't know about Kansas City, but I believe you. San Francisco has other problems. But man, I am scarred. I am traumatized by the time that I spent in Los Angeles. Do you have any idea? I'm being serious. Do you have any idea how soul-grindingly exhausting it is to live in LA and to see about 10 to 20% of your total lifespan eaten up by sitting in traffic? Unironically, like 10 to 20%. You spend 2 hours a day in commuting, like, okay, an hour back and forth. That's not unusual. There are severe psychological and economic consequences to that shit. You know, just the other day, I was watching this YouTube series from Eco Gecko. No, is it Eco Gecko? Shit, what's it called? Where's my favorites list? Come on, what's it called? It's not, is it, it's called something else? It's something Gecko. It rhymes with gecko. Eco Gecko? Not Echo? That makes more sense. Eco Gecko, but probably Echo Gecko anyway. Little channel, 4,000 subs, whatever. Anyway, this video right here, the suburban wasteland, how the burbs bankrupt us, and a bunch of follow-up videos. Holy shit, man. Unbelievably good content. Some of the best put together research I've seen in this subject. It's definitive, okay? Couldn't recommend this enough. And on failing American infrastructure. God, I fucking hate suburbia. Look at this. I'm gonna kill myself just looking at this. I'll do it live. Look at that. Jesus. How can anyone think this is culture? Like, how is this the American dream for anyone? There are people who believe, they're like, I want to go live in the suburbs. Why? My opinion? I think wanting to live in the suburbs is a sign of some sort of either you've deluded yourself into believing you want a thing you don't actually want, or you have antisocial personality disorder, okay? Because suburbs are the most antisocial bullshit that we ever found a way to invent. It's unbelievable, okay? You're like in your own little world out there. There's nothing around you to do. You can't walk anywhere. It's obscenely expensive to upkeep. Everyone over there is depressed. Everyone over there is miserable. These suburbs are fucking Xanax farms. Why do you think that the stereotype of the anxious, depressed housewife who has to chug cocaine to get through her day developed immediately after the post-war suburb boom? Like, 1-to-1. 1-to-1. To be fair, apartments are shit too. Apartments are shit, not generally because of location or concept, but because of the way in which tenant laws and the way in which, like, house pricing in cities are developed. Cities, well-managed cities, are a good place to live. You know what we need? Bosh, this seems like a West Coast problem. It is worse on the West Coast. There's no denying that. You know what we need? This is what they do in Europe. Mixed development housing. Or, sorry, mixed, how do you call it? Mixed zoning. That's what we're looking for, okay? Mixed zoning, okay? Here's the problem with America, okay? I'll tell you. We're draw a stream. Let's go. We're going to learn today, motherfuckers. Okay, here's the problem with suburbs, okay? So I will convey to you the depths of suburban degeneracy, okay? Get ready for it. So you have the suburb zoning block right here. It's all residential, okay? It's all residential. And then over here, you have your little fucking strip mall, okay? What do we put? We're going to put green. No. We're going to put green there. And we're going to put brown there, okay? Oh, wait, I'm kind of blocked now. This is the problem with suburbs, okay? So if you live anywhere over here, you can't walk to shit. You can't walk to shit. You have to drive fucking 15 minutes to get over here. Anytime you want to do anything, you want to go to the grocery store, you got to drive. You want to go pick up like med at the local fucking drugstore, you got to drive. You want to anything, you have to drive over here. It contributes to heavy expenses for people who live here because they're constantly burning through gas and car repairs. It means that we destroy the environment because everybody is so fucking far away from everything else. And hey, even if you live here, this strip mall fucking sucks. Have you guys ever seen a commercial district in a downtown Old Town area versus a commercial district in a suburb? Strip malls in a suburb are not something that you have fun at. They're a place you have to go to because you're out of something, okay? If you live in a city near Old Town, you can walk outside and there can be some cool shit next to you, okay? Like cool shit. You live in a downtown area, you live in Seattle, anywhere near the city proper part of Seattle, you can go get some cool shit. Like right off the bat, there's a nightclub over there. You can get your essentials. You can walk to a grocery store. 2 minutes away, you can walk to a grocery store. Okay? And they're able to sustain lots of really, really dense commercial property because cities are more dense in terms of their person per square mile, which means that they can cram more commercial worth into a smaller space, which means it's easier to walk, which means it's easier to find things within close proximity to each other, as opposed to the absolute unadulterated nightmare of living in here when, hey, I'm only talking about commercial zoning, okay? What if you want to go to the hospital? What if you have a doctor's appointment? What if you have to go to the vet? There are a million things. What? You have to pack into your car, kids. Time to spend 30 minutes driving through the windy fucking cul-de-sac-laden streets of suburbia. Ooh, so interesting. No skyline, no waypoints, nothing on the map, absolutely nothing. Just whoop, now we're at the fucking generic copy and paste strip mall. But it doesn't have to be this way. Because in Europe, they have mixed zoning. You can have a residential block, and then inside of that residential block, you can have commercial areas. It's going to fill the whole thing, isn't it? Yep, it's going to fill the whole thing because I left a gap. See? This makes it a lot easier and a lot more livable because no matter where you are, you're usually close enough to a hippin' and happening place to go to. Suburbs are expensive. They're decentralized in the worst possible way. They're bad for the environment. They encourage people to drive more. They're culturally dead. They're fucking terrible. And nobody wants to live there. People like living in cities more. The actual degree of life satisfaction and people's desire to live in areas tends to be more in favor of cities. People say like, oh, I want to get out of the city. And sure, if you want to, that's great. But generally speaking, people like living in the city. The problems with the city generally have to do more with like higher taxes or property taxes or rent or what have you. It's usually economic disincentives, but we can fix those with better housing policy. The concepts of the suburbs are fundamentally destructive. It's not good. The reason why European cities are the way they are is because Paris has been about as big as Paris is for a long time. Paris has been around, Paris has been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, okay? So they have the city that they have, like the territory they have is already determined. It's already there. So they have their residential blocks, and if they want to add stuff, they have to appropriately plan and space it within the confines of the area they already have. Whereas in American cities, everything is developed inorganically. They're like, okay, what if we just made 50 square miles of suburbs here and we'll put a strip mall here? How would nature be incorporated into mixed development? This is going to astound you, but according to research that I found in that Eco Gecko video, it actually seems like per person, cities are significantly less um, taxing on the environment than suburbs are, like easily. It may not look like it, like zoomed out and everything like that, but city residential areas tend to have way more trees per square mile than suburban ones do. Things are more packed together, which means it's easier to run water pipes under the ground. You have less road upkeep to deal with because everything is more contained. If when you live together in cities, like it's much easier to be ecologically friendly because people don't have to walk, or sorry, don't have to drive as much. It's better. Why do Americans hate trees? We don't. Urban designers hate trees. Okay, that's what they hate. Unironically, I think a lot of the reason why people want to escape to the suburbs is because they want to escape to poverty. It's not just white people. Brown people are in the suburbs too, be it not disproportionately so. But I think a lot of the reason why people want to escape that is because they want to escape poverty. When you live in a city, you will see homeless people. You will see like there are poor areas of town, you know, and sometimes that shit can suck to be around. Not just because every once in a while this can negatively contribute to your standard of living, which is a fact of the matter. Don't deny it. Don't lie. But in my opinion, mostly because it's just kind of sad to see like rampant wealth inequality. If you're in a suburb, you can hide away from that, but that doesn't fix the fucking problem. You're not solving poverty by going out there and guzzling up 27,000 gallons of water every day watering your lawn. That doesn't fix anything. Yeah. It's like when people on the right talk about the mass exodus from California. It's a stupid talking point. Their populations reshuffle from time to time. It's not a big deal. There were multiple urban development movements in America that were ecologically amazing. They were largely crushed by big real estate developers. I unironically believe that the happiest future for America is one where people live in townhouses and apartments that are tightly compacted, where people have close proximity to like grocery stores and hospitals and doctors' offices and everything interesting in life. And I think that's infinitely preferable to the American dream being like, save up enough money that you can go out there and bankrupt yourself with a mortgage on a suburban house where you're 30 minutes away from anything interesting. I'll end this on an anecdote. When we were moving out of Humboldt, out of Northern California, we were driving all up and down Washington trying to look around at places, you know. And there was this place in North Tacoma that I'm never going to forget, okay? This was the nice place to live, okay? We were looking for places. They had an apartment there. We were looking. And this was the nice part. This was the nice part, okay? And you have to drive a little whiles away from everything else to get to there. It's a heavily forested area. All the houses and apartments, whatever, they're cut into it. And this is where the wealthy people lived. I mean, this is where like lawyers and doctors would live. So while driving there, I thought like, oh, cool. I'm not going to be able to afford shit here. You know what was there? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not a single fucking thing. It was a whole chunk of the island, or not island, peninsula, heavily forested with just hundreds and hundreds of dead-end ghost town roads with McMansions and sprawling apartment complexes stretching across its entirety. There was no culture. There were no places to walk to. The only commercial area I saw anywhere in that entire peninsula area, the only bit I saw was a little strip mall that had like a Jack in the Box and a KFC. That's it. And this is where the wealthy people lived. What a miserable fucking existence. Any day of my life, I would take being able to go out, living in an apartment, but being able to go outside and walk somewhere. to having to drive. Oh, the one that was built around a fucking golf course? Yeah, here, I wonder if I can Google Maps it real quick. I want to see. Hold on. New incog window. I see you motherfuckers. You're coming out. Yeah, this is like suburban hell. No denying it. Let me see if I can find. Like, just looking on the map. Here's the Tacoma area. Oh, wait, that's Renton. Where the fuck are we? Oh, there's Tacoma. Oh, okay. Zoom in on Washington. You know why you feel like you're a god? When you're like, open maps, here's the whole world, and then you choose a part of the world, you scroll in, you like land on your town, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah! So look at this bullshit. Okay? So we have, this is like the Tacoma area, and there's like shit, whoa, Jesus Christ. There's like shit to do here, right? And then you have all the industry shit. You take the fucking freeway all around the corner until you get to Northeast Tacoma, and then you have this area, okay? And over here, there is just nothing. This whole fucking chunk right here is just windy cul-de-sac roads with nothing. The only thing that's even remotely commercial in the area is at Browns Point over here. But if you're over here, that's like a 15, 20-minute drive. But there's like nothing. It doesn't really show that well from maps, but like I was getting like fucking secondhand depression going through all this, like on car. It was just nothing. There was nothing. Street view? Doxing you 5405 on Chinook Drive. They use Street View. I don't know. Gotcha 5405. I'm getting you. There's a little dude at the bottom. I always worry about like Street View on stream if somebody's gonna have like their ass cheek out or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, we're doxing motherfuckers out here. Okay, wait, sorry. This got really rambling. Just, yeah. You're a socialist who wants to see more commercial development. Interesting? Dude, fucking unironically. Yeah, absolutely. So wait, hold on. That's not a capitalism thing. Under socialism, yeah, you would also have, well, even if you don't call it commercial development, you want, like, places to go to, yeah. Absolutely. 100%, yeah. You want that development as much as you can. One of the, we cordon, we section off these houses, these areas too much. Humans aren't meant to live this way, you know? Human beings used to live in villages. Before that, we lived in tribes with like 200 people, and then we lived in villages. We had like 500 people or whatever to a village. People would get together at the market. That was how humans lived, based and monkey-pilled, okay? But nowadays, we have, in an urban development sense, we have deviated significantly from everything that human beings seem to intrinsically like. Humans like close-knit social relations. They like being close to the things that they care about, and they like having mixed development, okay? Like every village was, because every village had to have its own industry, because you can't, obviously, like, it's a village. You can't go to the next village over anytime you want, like, food. You need to be able to provide for all these needs in one area. Good Twitter thread on German villages dropped today. Oh, shit. Okay, here we go. Wait, this is Pog. Hold on, we're pogging right now. IRL. This is the village in Germany where my parents met in the 1980s. It's called Imsbach, population about 1,000. The longest walk you can take while staying in the village is 15 minutes, a thread about villages. Okay, I just want to make it clear. I'm not advocating for village life, essentially. I'm advocating for walkable life. That can be in cities or in villages. I grew up visiting Imsbach, except for the wind turbines that went up. It never really changed. The edges of the villages are well defined. You're inside the village or you're outside the village. There's no in between. That's a good feeling too. That's one of the things that I like about Seattle. When you're in Seattle and you drive in any direction for long enough, I feel like you hit a wall and then it's just like wilderness. You know what I mean? Whereas in Los Angeles, no matter what direction you drive in, it never really stops. It just kind of fades out into more rural development. You know what I mean? But it goes on forever. Yeah, there's no definitive edge. Um, the center of town serves as a meeting place for any and all community gatherings, formal and informal. Everyone knows everyone. It's a very difficult place to feel lonely. Dude, this is based in Monkey Pilled right here. Humans would be so much less depressed if we had stuff like this. We can't all return to living in like 1,000 pop villages or anything like that. And I wouldn't enjoy living in a place like this because this place probably has poor internet connection and doesn't have like a cool nightlife or anything like that. But this community element is something that you can get in major cities too if you need them. Imsbach sits at the base of a large foothill. In the summer, we would all climb up and drink Bischoff, the local beer, together at a community space the town built up top and enjoy the view. That seems really nice. Hyena, I may hate bars, but I like knowing other people are doing bars. Imsbach is lovely, but it isn't special. There are hundreds of villages like this across Germany and many more across the rest of Europe, Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Yet back in the US, there is nothing of the sort. We have basically two options. Yep. God, dude, even seeing strip malls makes me depressed. Look at this. Holy shit. Like, just looking at this makes me, like, queasy, dude. Like, fuck. This is life for, like, a significant, like tens of millions of Americans. Probably, maybe up to 100. And then we have this. Yeah. Does anyone recognize which city this is, just based on the skyline? It's not LA, that's all I know. It's not LA or Seattle. It's the only thing I know. New York City? Probably New York City or Chicago. I mean, yeah. America doesn't have villages. A village is small and dense. Imsbach's only 971 people, but they live close together. 11 people per acre. A density you can only really find in urban neighborhoods of very large cities in the U.S. America has small towns, but they aren't dense. It has dense cities, but they are anything but small. Density is very, very, very important. That's true. Why does this matter? Because America is deep in a crisis of loneliness, and the form of our communities is a critical determinant of social connectedness. Low density permits few opportunities to connect. Sure enough, suicide rates are higher in suburbs. Fucking yup. Suicide rate for 447 counties. Look at this statistical fucking trend, dude. Look at this. It more than doubles in rural areas. This is an unbelievably strong correlation. And in very high density urban areas, it's quite low comparatively. Please give us the link to this Twitter thread. It was from 3 hours ago. Just look up KC Climbs and you'll have it. I'm sorry, but I actually like the strip mall / suburban aesthetic. I can't help you with whatever's wrong with you. I'm sorry. Humans need humans, Vosh. Very true. Vosh, Soviet blocks are depressing, but they were designed so that the essentials were always within walking distance. Yeah, dude, actually, that's a really good point. When we think of depressing architecture, we think of giant Soviet blocks, but fuck, man, at least people lived close together in those blocks. This is what I think of when I think of, like, depressing architecture. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what makes me sad. Vosh Soviet apartments are trash, dude. I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying, like, we need to recognize that this is fucking depressing. You know? What's wrong with strip malls? Watch the video series that I recommended from Eco Gecko on suburbia, and I think you'll find something interesting there, maybe. Malls in general are terrible. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of malls in general. You're coming at this very city, Mouse? No. Please. Please. I love you. Please listen. Please. As long as humans are around, there will be rural areas to live in, okay? What I'm talking about is not everybody living in a megacity. I'm talking about walkability, okay? The problem is that small communities in America aren't walkable. Small towns in America are spread out across 80 square miles. They have no public amenities. Everyone has to drive everywhere. And you have the only place you can get anything are strip malls, okay? Whereas small communities in, as we just saw, in Europe are tightly condensed, highly communal, with civic needs provided for within a walkable distance. The problem here isn't the size of the city. The problem is how walkable we make these cities. That's the main problem. Now it is the case that it is easier to bring about the conditions for walkability in a dense urban cityscape, but there are cities that don't do that very well, like Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a mega city, and you can't walk anywhere, you can't. So it's not just about mega cities. I think Seattle is much better about this than Los Angeles is. LA is a megacity? I would say so. Yeah, it's one of the biggest ones in the world. I would imagine it's a megacity. You know? Don't you think if you live in a smaller town it could raise problematic conflicts? I'm not advocating for small communities. I'm just advocating for walkability, man. Whether we're talking about big or small communities, we need to make these communities livable, okay? We need to make them livable. We just need better urban planning, or better suburban planning, or better rural planning. We just need better planning in general, okay? Unless we're talking farmlands, it should be possible to design living areas in ways that encourage human connections. Does Seattle have public transit? Nothing good. Nothing good. Morbidly obese people don't want to walk. Okay, well, cars aren't illegal, so you can also use those if you want to. What? It's not banning those just yet. Houses that are in walkable places get really expensive, though. You know why houses that are in walkable places get really expensive? Because they're desirable, because everybody wants to live there, and also because there are so few of them. The only reason why they're so expensive is because we don't we don't build enough of them. We make like there are only small segments of towns that are like really nice to live in, and everybody's fighting over them. Can you really blame people for spending 2/3 of their rent trying to live on like Seattle or San Francisco or like Chicago or some city like that, when the alternative for them is living in some deadbeat fucking rural Midwest right off the freeway town where the risk of suicide quadruples and they're much less likely to be able to find friends, find jobs, find anything they care about? No fucking shit, people are gunning for these cool places to live. Yeah, absolutely. Where you live is like one of the biggest determining factors of your quality of life. It's hugely important. We need to do better to our citizens. Now, and it's not, by the way, it's not just a make people happy, hippy dippy bullshit. You also make our country more economically efficient. We waste a fuck ton of money on car culture and sprawling suburbia. We waste an obscene amount of money on that. We waste money on infrastructure and piping in those areas. It's way cheaper per person to live in cities, way less pollution. It also contributes significantly to economic efficiency because, hey, as it turns out, economic efficiency correlates pretty heavily to how much time people have to spend on engaging in productive exercise. They can't exactly do that when they spend 2 hours a day driving. If you like living in the country, that's fine. We're not talking about not living in the country. That's not what we're talking about. How do you feel about those app-based scooter companies? Do you think they're a helpful solution to transportation in cities? Nah, fuck those things. Those are like the skeeviest corporate pseudo-solution to poor urban infrastructure imaginable. I actually heard my younger brother had a friend who worked for that company. Apparently, they don't even bother to repair those scooters. They just let them break and just be litter on the ground because it's cheaper to make more of them. It's unbelievably destructive to the environment and to our infrastructure for that, you know? Yeah, no, we need to invest in proper busing and metro is what we need. What's wrong with trains? Japan has trains? You been to Tokyo? Do you have any idea how many people get moved through Tokyo via metro every month? It's unfucking believable. They move so many people. Trains come every 5 minutes. It's expensive, but there are benefits to it. Fuck, there was a part of this in the Eco Gecko. Fuck, hold on. I want to find this segment. Hold on. The scooters are unironically good if done well, though. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to incorporate them in a better way. Yeah, hold on. Vosh, I mean, America is huge. Yeah, but that doesn't affect intercity like in a city travel, you know? Okay, give me the bit.
With the retail apocalypse, just per capita.
Give me the bit about the cost per thing.
Only covered half of the city's future.
Give it to me.
Plus suburban counterparts. Now, the value of the property divided by value.
Oh yeah, here's stuff about taxable value of property, etc., etc. There's a lot to it here. Okay, but hold on. Oh, public transport.
Just over $1,000 a year as of 2019 for the median.
Here we go. Listen up.
About $6,000 a year.
You don't want to miss out on this next offer.
Shut up.
In 2000, the total cost of car ownership was estimated by the AAA to be about $6,000 a year. Jeez. Today, that's more like $9,000 a year. And that's from a car-friendly source. Keep in mind that the median American worker earns something like $31,000 a year as of 2019. For the median worker, that's a third of your income going to transportation alone. In contrast, yearly access to the CTA in Chicago, one of America's better transit networks, costs just over $1,000 a year. For a real world-class system, like that in London or New York, it'll cost you about £2,300 or $2,400 a year, respectively. That's barely a quarter of what you're paying to deal with rush hour traffic on your local highway in
I can recognize LA traffic from a fucking satellite photo any day of the week.
Suburban America, and less than 10% of the median income instead of over 30%. As several prominent urbanists point out in Suburban Nation, quote, at conventional mortgage rates, that figure, the difference in transit costs, translates into more than $60,000 of home purchasing power, unquote. So that foregoing 2 family cars could basically pay for a cheap house by itself.
Yeah, there's so much here. Okay, wait, we have to end this segment. We have to get me out of this nightmare, okay? Just watch this video series, okay? Unironically, I've never been so impressed by research into a thing ever, okay? That's hyperbolic, but still, okay? Oh, apparently Echo Gecko's in chat. Hey, what's up? Nice video series you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody enjoyed it and watched all of it. I haven't finished watching it, actually. I haven't finished the What Is To Be Done segment. These are super good videos. Thank you. I'll be putting out more soon, I hope. You've already done your contribution to humanity. Don't feel a moral obligation, but also please do. Super fucking good. You guys need to watch this shit, okay? All right, give me a Tempest. Cut, stop.